Welcome to Therapy Explained, where we explain, demystify, and destigmatize mental health and mental health treatment. My name is Deniss. I'm a licensed therapist, mental health advocate, and public speaker, and your host here at Therapy Explained. And today, we're going to be talking about how to express your needs to your family as a person of color. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos on mental health that are culturally aligned. And if you want to stay in touch, go ahead and sign up for my newsletter, where you also will be getting some extra goodies and things that I create for the videos. And lastly, if you would like to further support the channel, consider becoming a member. There is currently only one tier. We're still at the baby stages of this project, but if you would like to show support to help me create these videos, I do everything from script writing to filming to editing, and then everything that comes after that as well. So consider becoming an early member of the channel. So without further ado, let's jump into today's conversation, talking to your family about your needs as a person of color. As people of color, we are part of collective cultures. This means that family is the integral part of our identities. We feel like we belong to something bigger than us, but most importantly, we belong to our family unit. So when we talk about expressing needs and taking up space, right, if we're part of this unit, when we start to express what we need and what we feel, it can feel like we are actually taking up more space than we are supposed to or allowed to. Additionally, we're not really raised to share or even identify our feelings. We are not encouraged to ask ourselves what we think or what we feel about any decisions that are being made in the family. So this may also feel foreign to you. And a special note for you, if you are a woman of color, you are socialized not to share your feelings and your needs. Right? Being a woman means that you should be passive, serving, self-sacrificial, and basically just take care of other people. So when we talk about expressing your needs and setting boundaries and asking for things for your family, you might experience a lot of guilt, a lot of judgment, and not just internally, but you might also be getting these messages from your family in return whenever you're trying to do that. So to help you navigate a lot of the emotions that are coming up and learning how to take up more space within your family unit and maybe even in other relationships, here are a few things that I hope will help you along the way. Number one, identify your needs. This may seem like a bit basic, but it can be really hard for us to express what we need if we haven't taken the time to reflect on what that actually is. You might find that things make you feel uncomfortable or upset, but if you haven't taken the time to reflect on, okay, where is this upset coming from? Why is it that this is important to me? And what am I actually asking for? It is helpful to let people know, hey, that makes me uncomfortable, it might make me feel judged or lonely or scared or anxious. But if then we don't have a specific ask from them, it can make it a little bit more difficult for our family members to give us what we need, right? If we're able to say like, hey, that comment makes me uncomfortable, okay, the only thing that they might hear is, all right, so I'm doing something that's making you uncomfortable and I'm not sure where to go from here. But if you're able to let them know, hey, instead of this, please do this, we're also helping people learn how we want to be treated specifically so they don't have to figure it out. So a few things that you can ask yourself in this journey is, what are some moments in my relationships with my family that make me feel uncomfortable? Number two is, what is that uncomfortable feeling? And number three, what narratives, what conclusions am I coming to based on that feeling? So if it's because someone's made a comment, it makes me feel hurt, it doesn't make me feel heard, and it makes me feel judged, then the thought that I'm connecting to that is, this person doesn't like me, this person doesn't value me, or they think less of me, right? And then we want to try to challenge some of those thoughts and learning how to communicate instead with the people around us about what would feel better. Number two is using assertive communication skills. I do have a full video on assertive communication skills, and if you have more specific questions, please leave them down in the comments below, and maybe I can make a video answering all those questions. But here are just a few basics to remind yourself of when you're creating your scripts or when you're thinking of what and how you're going to be communicating to your family. Using I statements, using feeling words, being as vulnerable as you can, and validating their feelings are all really good strategies that align with assertive communication styles. Assertive communication, remember, is not aggressive. It is honest, but it is also compassionate. So those are just a few things to keep in mind after you've identified what your feelings are and what your needs are. Number 3 is to be prepared for discomfort. This is new for you, and you might not have a lot of practice on doing this stuff, so it will probably feel uncomfortable. You might feel anxious. Again, you might feel guilty. You might be judging yourself for some of this, or you might be afraid that it won't work out, and that is totally normal. If you've done some of the prep work of identifying your needs and then figuring out how you want to communicate them, like finding the words that feel comfortable and true to your style, then that will help you feel a little bit more confident and at ease. That being said, find some coping tools to help you feel more grounded before you have this conversation. It'll make it a little bit easier to get through it. Also remember that this may be uncomfortable for your family. Again, this might not be necessarily something that we grew up doing. Our family probably doesn't share how they feel with us either. So this is going to be a new way of communicating with each other. But that alone is already so powerful. You're starting to change that dynamic and modeling that it is safe and it is okay to talk about your feelings with each other. Because at the end of the day, sharing what we need means, hey, I want to form a relationship with you that feels safe for both of us. So by modeling that, you're also encouraging your family to do it. But it will take time, and at the beginning, it will be uncomfortable. I also wanted to mention that depending on where your family member is in their own journey or their past experiences, including their traumas, they may or may not be receptive to this new way of communicating. It is typical for a family to respond defensively and feel attacked, or to be confused and not understand what you're trying to say. It might take some experimenting, but again, even though it is uncomfortable, it is because it's new and not because it's wrong. Number 4, be patient and persistent. Be patient with yourself and with your family. Again, this is all new, so you might not say it perfectly the first time. You might have thought about what you want to say and how you want to say it, and then still feel uncomfortable, and maybe it'll go down a road that you didn't expect it to, and that's all right. And also be patient with your family. Again, this is new for them. They don't know how to do this. They don't know how to listen. They don't know how to take feedback without personalizing it or internalizing it. So because everybody is new to this, it might not always go as smoothly. So be patient with yourself, but still be persistent. Try it again. These conversations are conversations. They're multiple. It's not a let's sit down this one time and tell you how I feel and then things will get fixed. You'll have to tell them multiple times and in different ways. But the good thing about this part is that the multiple ways piece allows you to learn along the way. If you used a certain word or started with a certain tone, then maybe your family may not be as receptive. You will have the opportunity then to revisit the conversation and try it a different way. And a lot of this requires that experimentation, but you build on it every time. You feel more confident every time, and ideally you're all learning how to communicate with each other better and better. I also want to take a moment to address the guilt. We end up feeling guilty because some of the thoughts that are connected to that guilt can be that we are being selfish or that we are taking up too much space. When you're asking for the things that you need in a relationship, what you really are communicating to that person is that you want to be in relationship with them. This relationship is important enough for you that you want it to feel good. So remember that piece. And also feel free to let them know that too. Like, hey, this is important to me. You are important enough to me as my, sibling or as my parent or as my aunt or whatever the case, or my grandparent, that I want you to know, right, how I feel. And I want to know how you feel in our interactions so that it feels good in the long run. And with that, I'm taking the opportunity to remind you that when we're sharing our feelings, when we're sharing our needs, we're not saying my needs and my feelings are the most important. I am the only one that needs to feel comfortable in this relationship. The communication is both ways, right? It's like saying, hey, my feelings are important too. What I feel and what I think in this relationship is important too. So you're not being selfish because you want to share how you feel. Maybe for the first time in your life, you're learning how to allow yourself to be something, to take up space, other than to sit quiet and listen and cater to other people's needs. If you've been here for some time, you know that we talk a lot about the inner child. And part of this work is you giving voice to that inner child that for the first time is being allowed to speak up and to feel heard. And that's the work that you're doing here. Regardless of how other people will respond to this attempt of you trying to communicate with them about your needs, the true healing work is in you even allowing yourself to do that. You're telling yourself, your inner child, that, hey, what we feel is important, right? All those things that you were telling the other person or the people that you're trying to communicate to, you're also telling yourself, I'm important enough to speak up for. And that is healing. If this video added value to your day or to your journey, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more videos just like this one. And if you want to stay in touch or receive extra goodies from today's video, go ahead and subscribe to my newsletter. The link is down below. And of course, if you want to show even more support and get even more goodies and perks, sign up to join as a member of the channel. Before you go, let's take a deep breath in together, in through your nose. Big breath. And exhale through your mouth. Thank you for joining me today, and until next time, take care.